Look at the weather.
It's beautiful here.
Non-stop rain.
Oh, man, it is a blazer out there.
It's cold and it's shivery.
It is cold.
Really coming down here.
I really enjoy your weather reports.
From the All Indiana Podcast Network, we're talking weather in a whole new way. From historical events to what's coming up, plus weather news, science, safety, fun facts, and more.
I like where this is going.
This is Weather Weekly. Weather Weekly with Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey.
Weather Weekly here for the middle of April. We're already past the halfway mark for this month. Good to be with you. I'm meteorologist Marcus Bailey, Wish TV in Indianapolis. Hopefully you had a fantastic weekend. Man, great end to the work week last week. Fantastic start to the weekend. 80s. A lot of sunshine, just really, really nice. Now the back end, Sunday not as nice, obviously, and it's kind of an ugly start here to this week. It's interesting before we get to the forecast, and but I think I've said this on the podcast before, and I've certainly mentioned it on air. That there is a reason why we always stress that you don't plant until Mother's Day. That's kind of like the benchmark in Central Indiana. I was out at a couple of box stores yesterday, and just kind of grabbing some stuff for the growing season, just being ready, doing some indoor planting for some of my vegetable gardens. It was packed. A lot of people getting flowers and all that kind of stuff. And you're going to see this week why it's why we always stress, you don't want to do this in April because you buyer beware, right? This time of year, you can still get snow. You can get 80s, but you can get snow. You can get some frost. You can get freezing temperatures. And I think that's going to be kind of the theme for this forecast this week. It is a roller coaster ride. We're going to have some really nice temperatures. We're going to have some really nasty days. Not in the sense of severe weather, but some pretty chilly temperatures. So the battle between winter and summer ongoing here for the middle of April. So we're going to go ahead and look ahead to the week of April 17th. That forecast coming up next on Weather Weekly. All right, let's get going with the forecast the week ahead for the week of April 17th, 2023. And we're going to start off ugly. All right, I guess if you're gonna have some rough days, let's do it early in the week and try to find some improvement as we progress through the week. So we'll start with Monday, the 17th. We had that system that brought some showers, cold front marching through on Sunday, and that kind of snapped back the temperatures back to reality. Actually, a little bit below average as we progress through the day. Started the morning off into the 60s, and then those numbers tanked into the 50s and eventually 40s. And so now we're on that cold end of this system here for Monday the 17th. And it's going to be, you're going to have a few things going on here for Monday. You're going to have some pretty blustery winds, some pretty chilly temperatures. I think we're going to have lows in the morning into the mid-30s. And you will likely see some frost in areas. Now, the winds are going to be up there, and we've had that since Sunday. So that could prevent a little bit of frost from forming. As we go into your Monday afternoon, the temperatures are going to struggle. You've got this low pressure center that's going to be spinning really wound up toward Michigan, the northern Great Lakes. They've got a lot of snow up around Wisconsin, and some of that is going to drag down into Indiana, we believe, especially as we head into midday and afternoon hours. Best chances for more consistent snow will be closer to the Michigan state line, so far northern counties of Indiana. But I wouldn't be shocked if around central Indiana we get some decent bands of snow. Now, are we worried about accumulation or anything like that? No. The ground's pretty warm, right? We've had several days of 80 degree or near it weather. So unless you get some really heavy snow, it's going to be tough to overcome that. I suppose you could get maybe a little bit in grassy areas, so I wouldn't rule that out. Roads, I think, are going to be okay. I think it's just more demoralizing at this point because of how nice it was for the vast majority of last week that now we are taking such a big step backwards temperature-wise and precipitation-wise. Wind gusts could get up to around 40 miles per hour, so that's just going to make it even feel worse. It's bad enough. You're talking highs in the mid-40s and maybe some snow, but then you add those blustery winds and you're factoring in a wind chill that's probably going to be well into the low 30s, maybe even colder. It just kind of makes for a really bad start to the week. All right. Now, the nice thing about this time of year is while you can get these bad days, right, that we will have all day on the 17th, you can rebound extremely quickly. It's not, doesn't always have to be kind of a gradual warm up. So we'll relax the wind machine pretty late Monday night on the 17th. Lows will get to around 34 in the city. So if you do have some plants outside, hopefully you've already brought them in for Monday, but certainly have them in Monday night. Because I do think we're going to be cold enough that we'll at least see frost across the area. And there could be some of you that do get into the freeze potential, okay? And that's leading into Tuesday the 18th. Now, that said, I think we're going to be in pretty good shape on Tuesday. We should see a return of sunshine. Winds won't be quite as bad, and we'll see highs into the low to mid-60s across the state through the afternoon. Won't be quite as cold overnight, lows into the lower 40s, so you can get those plants back outside if you have them out there and they are removable. Wednesday, even better, the 19th, should be sunny and mild. Highs in the low 70s. Wednesday night, we'll have lows into the mid-50s. Thursday, kind of the same thing. I do think we'll see a few more clouds, maybe a little breezy at times on Thursday, the 20th. But highs are back into the mid-70s. So you're over 10 degrees above average. And overnight lows on the 20th, Thursday, should be into the mid-50s. We do have another system coming our way for the end of the week, Friday into Saturday. And that will bring another swing in temperatures. I don't think it's going to be quite as extreme as what we experienced here for the end of the weekend and then early this week. But it is going to be kind of a wound up system. A lot of the models that we're looking at bring this system in on Friday. There are some hints it could speed up as early as Thursday night, the 20th, but I'm going to leave that dry for now. So Friday the 21st, we'll go with scattered showers. There's some thunderstorms. There's some ingredients that we got to keep an eye on. There could be some severe weather. It doesn't look overly impressive like it would be a big severe weather event for us. But a few gusty storms could be possible. We'll keep you updated as we get a little bit closer. Still highs into the upper 60s and lower 70s on the 21st for Friday, and overnight lows will be cooler. This is going to be another cold front moving through, so lows will dip down into the lower 40s. Saturday, I think we have some leftover showers. It's going to be breezy. And I should mention that Friday the 21st will be breezy as well. We'll continue with those winds on Saturday the 22nd to kick off the weekend. Noticeably cooler. I don't think we're going to have any thunder here. It's just going to be kind of a cooler rain. Highs in the upper 50s and lower 60s. And again, you're going to have lows falling to the mid-30s for that Saturday night leading into Sunday. Sunday the 23rd, I have dry, but it's going to be cool. Highs in the mid-50s for Sunday the 23rd. Overnight lows probably into the mid-30s. And then maybe a little bit of a warm-up, nothing significant. Monday of the 24th. And should be dry. And numbers should be holding into the upper 50s to maybe around 60, which isn't too far below the average for this time of year, which typically is around 64 for a high and 44 for a low. All right, so a lot of ups and downs here. Obviously, the days to be aware. Monday the 17th with that wintry mix. Don't think it's going to create major problems for you, but again, if you got plants outside, you're going to need to bring those in or cover them up. And then late week, Friday into Saturday, you'll have a rain chance with some breezy conditions. And a little bit of a cool down. Not as extreme, but it will be notable heading into next weekend. So, you know, it's funny, you get to this, I mean, this is typical, right? You know, the back and forth of spring, we kind of saw one side of it early on, and that was the severe weather aspect. And now we're getting that fight between the cold and warm air, where we're getting more cold air winning out. And so the fight to try to march ahead to more consistent warm temperatures continues. We'll get there. You know, we're just a few weeks away from the month of May. Although May, we can still have our bout of cool days. They are, you know, a little bit more rare for the vast majority of the month, as summer is quickly approaching. So hang in there. We're getting there. All right. We are getting there. All right. We're going to take a look at some stats, and we'll look beyond the 8-day forecast as well. That's coming up next on Weather Weekly. All right, let's put the wraps on episode number 121 here, and we'll look at some statistics for you here. For the month, precip-wise, only 3/4 of an inch. Normal value around 2. We're down 1 1/3 inches. Last year at this time, we were already up to 2 1/4, close to it. Since March 1st, though, we're still doing pretty good. 6 3/4 inches. We're up 1 inch. And we're almost exactly even with what we had last year at this point. Since January 1, 13.3 inches. We're up almost 2 inches. And we're up almost 1 inch from last year. Snowfall, nothing. We're down 0.2 from normal for the month. And again, no major changes. Since the snow season, 10 inches even. We're down 15.5 total. And hopefully we will not be tacking on. It's always nice to kind of make that up, but I certainly, and I don't think many of you would like to either, don't want to try to make that up here this late in the game. All right. Let's go to the 8 to 14 day outlook. Pretty strong signal. Now, this would be the dates between April 23rd and April 29th of 2023. Real strong signal of below average temperatures. All right. And again, I mentioned normal highs for this time of year, typically in the mid 60s. By that point in the 8 to 14 day, you're kind of getting in the mid to upper 60 range. So it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to be really chilly, but just kind of like what we're going through now. You're going to have some bouts of hopefully not a lot of 40s like we're going to experience early in this forecast, but maybe mid and upper 50s. You'll get some stints here and there. And then some of the days you just kind of hover around average. Precip near normal for much of the Midwest. You have better chances for maybe higher amounts of precip along the East Coast and down toward the southeastern United States. 3 to 4 week outlook. This would be April 29th through May 12th. Looks like we've got a decent signal of below average temperatures and no real strong signal either way for above or below average precipitation there. In terms of the 7-day precipitation outlook from the Weather Prediction Center, much of the state could get over the next 7 days with the precip chances mainly late in the week, around 1/2 inch to 1 inch of rainfall. Better rain or higher rain amounts central and western parts of the state, and there could be some areas that could get as high as 1.5 inches. And we're kind of at the point now, we did have a decent amount of precip, late March, early April with some of the storms and some bouts of heavy rain. But we went on a stretch of about 9 days straight, I believe, when we started getting that really nice weather, right? That we were dry. And so a little rain won't hurt us here. As long as we're not getting it all at once, we could use a little bit of precip. We're not desperate, but certainly won't hurt. Hurt matters much. All right. So some good things there. Obviously some coolness that we're going to have to kind of fight through here, but still, I will take, no severe weather threats or any significant severe weather threats. And there's no real accumulating snow activity. So all in all, as I always say, it could be much, much worse. So we will take that. Thank you so much for spending time here with this podcast. You can always get forecasts for free anytime with our StormTrack 8 weather app. You can just download that in your app store. And of course, you can always get our updated forecast 24 hours a day at wishtv.com. You can catch my forecast Monday through Friday on Wish TV Daybreak on the TV side starting at 4 a.m., and we will be there all week. In fact, I'm running some longer shifts because our good friend Randy Ellis enjoying some time off. So I'll also be helping out on the midday. So you can catch me there as well, at least for this upcoming week. While you're here, make sure to check out some other great podcasts from my colleagues and friends, all part of the All Indiana Podcast Network. Have yourself a great week. Take care. We'll talk to you next week, and God bless.
Discover more from StormTrack 8 Weather and Wish TV. Online at wishtv.com and when you follow Wish TV on Facebook. Plus, be sure to check out more great podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.